Not going to shield the first Nice Slash in case they boost. Obstagoon, my good friend though, you might want to shield the Frenzy Plant. Big Frenzy Plant coming through, and holy smokes, that does a lot of damage. So, welcome back to the home of Shadow Pokemon. Huge thank you for all the recent support. We finally hit 2.5k subs on the channel, and I'm really appreciative for all the support I am getting. And continuing on from the last video where Blast Burn, Legacy Wing Attack Charizard was nuking the absolute crap out of everything, we're bringing yet another OP Kanto starter, Shadow Venusaur. Holy smokes, that Frenzy Plant does hit hard. Shadow Venusaur is ranked really high on PvPoke, however it is very rarely seen, and that would be because it loses to 4 of the most common things you see in Ultra League: Registeel, Walrus, the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death, aka Talonflame, and this stupid annoying thing you're looking at on the screen, Giratina. So the team today, we got Venusaur in the lead, we got Walrus and Swampert in the back. So if you're wondering why I'm staying in this matchup, well, because Swampert absolutely doesn't want to see Giratina either. But you can see Frenzy Plant is pretty busted, and we've got this Giratina now into the red. So we can now come in, get the correct alignment. We're going to come in with the Walrus, commit to the Powder Snow Farm down. We are going to have to tank a few moves, but Giratina, the absolute bulk monster, really doesn't hit particularly hard, and Walrein, it doesn't really care about your stupid Dragon Claws. We managed to Powder Snow all the way down. The opponent now comes in to Melmetal. No baits on the channel. Does the opponent respect the Earthquake? Yes, they do. Earthquake gets the shield. We get some lag switch now into Swampert, and we are now in the Swampert mirror. I see so many people play this matchup. Top tip for everyone: don't spam out Hydro Cannon, because Earthquake is the absolute play from the Shadow. The opponent doesn't commit their final shield. They get left deep into the red, and now I can use my second shield, commit to the Mudshot Farm down, and now Swampert is going to leave absolutely loaded. Back out comes the Melmetal. I could throw the Hail Mary, but Hydro Cannon all the way is going to be enough. The opponent calls the first bait. We're already at number 2. We are going to spam out the second Hydro Cannon. This will be drawing the shield from the opponent. Suddenly, they're not looking as slick as they thought. They're at the back-to-back super. I'm going to tank the first on Swampert, catch the second on the Walrus, and this game is now over. So despite getting absolutely hard countered in the lead, we managed to go off to a very impressive 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see Venusaur into Cresselia. Typing wise, this isn't a fantastic matchup. However, the opponent throws on 7. This is just a Moonblast, so we do resist both Moonblast and Grass Knot. This opponent clearly isn't running Future Sight, as they didn't even build up to it, and you can see neutral Frenzy Plants hit like an absolute truck. We are looking to CMP tie on the next Moonblast, but is Frenzy Plant enough to knock out? Unfortunately, it is not. Cresselia survives on 1 HP and a Dream, but Moonblast doesn't KO. We commit to the Vine Whip Farm down. We're 1 away. They try and snipe with the Walrus, but Venusaur far too bulky. Actually, it really isn't, but we do manage to get off the Frenzy Plant. We draw a shield. We now come in to our own Walrus, and we are going to look to use it as somewhat of a damage sponge. The opponent throws the Earthquake. The opponent is still staying in, so at this stage now, I am somewhat worried it could be Trevenant in the back, and Swampert could find itself with very little play. The opponent commits a really early shield. They're down shields now. I get to 1 more Earthquake. This is going to start forcing the health of the Walrein, but the opponent is still staying in. You can see I attempted to sack the Swampert. I was unsuccessful, so I am forced to commit a shield here. The opponent is still staying in, so I now sack my Swampert, fearing it might be dead weight. The opponent is going to fire off an Icicle Spear. The opponent is still staying in. I'm not going to shield this up. I've got no idea what's in the back now. I thought it was Trevenant. Now I'm scratching my head. We're now going to overfarm as much as I can. Fire off the Hydro Cannon. This will take care of the Walrus. And let's see what the opponent's third is. The third is a Swampert. And you already know that Earthquake is going to do absolutely huge damage. It lands, leaves the opposing Swampert deep into the red. They managed to Mudshot down. We're at the move. This Hydro Cannon probably wouldn't KO, but I'm going to use my shield anyway. And Icicle Sphere is going to be enough to take this game. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle. Venusaur into Nidoqueen. You absolutely hate to see it. 2 better responses in the back. This is essentially how I look to build my team, as I thought Venusaur doesn't want to see Talonflame, doesn't want to see the Dark Poisons or Poisons. So we put 2 things that can handle that in the back. We save switch into the Walrus, and here comes Scrafty. We land the Icicle Sphere if the opponent gets really greedy We could have made the Earthquake, but it looks like I am going to run out of HP, so I just settle for an Icicle Sphere. You can see the next counter did take me out. We've now left this Scrafty deep into the red. We are going to come in with Venusaur. Boosted Foul Play is going to hurt, but there's 0 point in shielding up. We are going to tank it. We look to commit to the Vine Whip farm down. We bank the move. We're going to be look to spam out Swampert. It's Talonflame in the back, and Shadow Swampert is about to go off. We are going to be spamming out Hydro Cannons. We do outpace this Kentucky Fried Chicken. Bird of Death. The opponent, no shield, so we are going to be firing off one more Hydro Cannon. If they want to get off the Brave Bird, they are going to have to commit a shield. The opponent does commit the shield. They're at 100 energy, but either way, I can just double shield. The opponent goes for the Flame Charge. They fire back-to-back, so this is just another Flame Charge. We are going to tank it. Look to commit to the Mudshot farm down. Back out comes Nidoqueen. We are going to be hitting Hydro Cannon number 1. This should draw a shield from the opponent, which it does. This is just a Poison Fang, but we are going to shield it up to guarantee getting the Mudshot and Hydro Cannon damage off. This Hydro Cannon is going to land, get the Nidoqueen deep into the red, and we're going to be looking to Vine Whip farm down. The opponent actually throws energy. As they didn't want to get Mudshot down, we can now come in with the Venusaur, commit to the Vine Whip farm down, and Venusaur is about to be a Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death counter confirmed. GG's, and thanks for playing. So that's essentially how I like to build my teams. If you hard lose lead, you want a soft counter and a hard check. You want something decent on the safe switch. That's why I've gone with Walrein. Moving on to the next battle. We pick up a lead against Primarina. You absolutely love to see it. The opponent switches out into Obstagoon, which isn't a winning matchup for him. I'm going to tank one Night Slash, fire back the Frenzy Plant, and holy smokes, that did massive damage. Swampert has a poor matchup against Primarina. Walrus also doesn't have the best. However, I can't really bring Walrus into an Obstagoon. We tank the first Night Slash. I've got zero intention of shielding up this second. We are going for one of my famous, very aggressive Mudshot farm downs. Do we make it? We just about make it. Swampert leaves himself minimal farm. We're going straight for the Earthquake. Does Primarina respect the damage? They do not, and holy smokes, that also did a lot of damage. I know a lot of people hate Ultra Lead because of how bulky it is. Try using Triple Shadows. That'll get rid of all of that nonsense. The opponent now switches out into Talonflame. We draw a shield with the Sludge Bomb. We now come in to the big fat Walrus, and we should be sitting in a pretty sweet spot. My timing of my charge move wasn't fantastic on Venusaur. At least on Walrus, we are timing it somewhat better. When using 2-turn moves, you essentially want to throw 2 fast moves and the charge move for every Incinerate. That is why you can see no Incinerate hitting me here. The opponent is now absolutely shieldless. I can very safely shield this move up. The Flame Charge probably wouldn't KO. They now switch out into Primarina, and all I need to do is get towards the back-to-back Icicle Spheres. Resisted Icicle Sphere will take care of Primarina, and this second Icicle Sphere is going to be enough to take this game. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see another Cresselia in the lead. Let's see if this opponent builds up to the Future Sight. Stay in school, kids. Learn to count. It's 8 Psycho Cuts for the Future Sight. We are going to fire off a Frenzy Plant. The opponent shields it up early, and they actually build 2-8. They must be weak to Venusaur in the back. I don't want to get one shot. Unfortunately, I do shield up a Moonblast, which is absolutely brutal. I count to 14, so this is going to be a CMP tie on the next Moonblast. I can very safely no shield this up. We know it is resisted. If I was the opponent, I would have at least rebuilt up to the Future Sight, but this opponent chose not to do that. So once again, I'm always looking to CMP tie to maximise the amount of energy I can get. The opponent double shields at this stage. Venusaur, you've absolutely put in enough work. We are going to allow the Venusaur to go down. They actually go for a Grass Knot, which does allow them some extra farm. We switch out into the Walrus, and they give up switch, bringing in the Bear Trap. Hello, Mr. Bear Trap. You stupid, really annoying little pancake. You, my good friend, are about to get fucking nuked. We overfarm as much as I can. We're going straight for the Earthquake. High Stun Fist, bye Stun Fist, get fucking wrecked. If Cresselia should return, because we've overfarmed, we are going to outpace to the next Hydro Cannon. Back out comes Cresselia. We are just going to get rid of it as soon as possible. Let's see what's in the back. In the back is a Swampert. Can I get to the Earthquake? The opponent throws energy, preventing me doing that. I am going to allow Swampert to go down, and Walrus up shields. The game is over. GG's, and thanks for playing. So you can see that this triple non-XL team went a perfect 5-0. We've got a couple of bonus battles. Once again, we pick up an absolutely dreadful lead against a Snarlmuck. Snarlmuck isn't as bad as the Poison Jab variant, but either way it resists all moves from Venusaur. We tank the Dark Pulse onto our Walrus. They now switch out into a Walrus of their own. Things aren't looking fantastic, as I don't really have a great response for Walrein other than my own Walrus. They even shield up the EQ. You absolutely hate to see it. We allow Walrus to go down. At least we have shield advantage. So I'm going to come in with Venusaur. I'm going to look to tank one move, and then I'm going to look to CMP tie the Walrus on the second Icicle Sphere. Icicle Sphere is going to do big damage to Shadow Venusaur. I am now going to overfarm. We look to CMP tie, but the opponent doesn't throw. So I imagine they're going to double shield, which can be a huge problem. They do double shield. They now snipe me with Muck, and once again, like you've seen time and time again on the channel, it's all down to the GOAT Shadow Swampert. Can Shadow Swampert with 2 shields sweep the entirety of their team? Well, once again we CMP tie on the next move. This Hydro Cannon will be taking care of Muck. See you fucking later. Back out comes the Walrus. I am going to shield up the Icicle Sphere. They must have a Swampert in the back, as Swampert Walrein core is pretty common. We go for the Earthquake. Earthquake should take care of the Walrus, which it does. We are outside of Hydro Cannon range. The opponent is going to have to make the Earthquake, but energy management absolutely on point. First Hydro Cannon gets some low. Second Hydro Cannon is going to be all she wrote, and Shadow Swampert sweeps yet another team. You fucking love to see it. Moving on to the next battle. We see another dreadful lead. Nidoqueen into our Venusaur. We safe switch into the Walrus, and here comes Obstagoon. Once again, not fantastic. They even go for the cross chop. We are now left deep into the yellow. We are going to fire off an Icicle Sphere. Like I said earlier in the video, you can sometimes make the Earthquake. This time I am committing to the Earthquake. Does the opponent want to give up a shield? Earthquake, if it goes unshielded, will flip switch, and just like that, from a really rough spot, we are now sitting pretty fucking sweet. We can now realign our Pokemon. We bring in Swampert to face this Nidoqueen. This could be an Earth Power. I am going to respect it, and we do correctly shield up the Earth Power. So from a rough spot, we are now sitting pretty sweet. We are now going to outpace this Nidoqueen. 2 Hydro Cannons. Hydro Cannon draws a shield from the opponent. We're already at Hydro Cannon number 2. Why the heck is this opponent staying in? What do you have in the back? Perhaps it is a big fat Registeel. The opponent once again builds up to the Earth Power. They bait me with a Poison Fang, but either way I am going to get rid of this thing as soon as possible. Hydro Cannon takes care of Nidoqueen. In the back is a Shadow Snorlax. 1 Hydro Cannon for the road just before we dip out into Venusaur to close this video. Venusaur comes in. We can tank absolutely any one move. Well, maybe not Hyper Beam, but who the fuck's running that? The opponent doesn't build up to the beam. They go for the Body Slam. We tank that no problem. Frenzy Plant is going to seal the deal. GG's, and thanks for playing. So those were the battles with Shadow Venusaur in the Open Ultra League. Pretty fun team as always. Non-XL, triple Shadow, beating the basic bitch meta. You love to see it. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. There's only around 40% of people that watch my content are subscribed. I also do shoutcasts on the channel. So if you're on the triple Shadow team, you'd like your battles featured, a link to my battle submission form is down below. And I'd like to say a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.